Greetings and welcome back. This would be the first live stream we are doing over here on the Writing Done Right channel. My apologies for the delay. I was trying to put up a notification on my other YouTube channel on the comment section there, the community tab, but for some reason YouTube was just not accepting it. It took me like 3 tries, so my apologies if you follow the other channel and you actually have like 3 times saying basically the same thing. I'll clean it up later. But anyway, whoa, I need to slow that one down. Technical issues there. All right, I was actually forgot to mute that one there. All right, and let me see what we have on this side. We look good over here. I also had to work on getting a OBS studio system set up on this end. I forgot that I had not yet done that. And we just have a couple other brief things I want to do before we jump on in. That's going to be over there. We'll go ahead and close that out. We'll wait a couple more minutes. So, of course, what we're going to do here is we are going to create an ebook from the LibreOffice document. We're going to walk through how to do all that. I'm just opening up another instance of, let's see, close that. Needing to open up another instance of an ebook on the other screen over here. And I'm also testing the new YouTube Studio beta system over here as well. And so this is the first time I'm trying this out. So if there are anybody who wants to jump on in and say hello, definitely go ahead and do that. So far, I will tell you what, I hate this new version. I used the Writing Done Right channel to test out all these things, and man, this is just, it's like they're watering down everything. They've gotten everything that was good and useful and gotten rid of it and made this giant, bulky, huge thing that just, it looks like children's toys. Anyway. Hey, I want to go ahead and work with it a little bit just to make sure we can get everything going here. And I think what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and jump on in. So we're going to jump on over to the desktop and let's move this out of my way. We'll jump on over to the desktop here. And what we're going to do is we are just going to start with the Synaptergy book, and we're just going to create the ebook. And what's going to happen with this is it's just probably going to take about an hour, maybe 2 hours. I don't know, but I don't really want to stop until we finish this unless I absolutely have to. So I am going to have to come in here when I get my comments back from my editor, integrating things in, but generally there's not a lot more. I might also sometimes do this step after I've laid tracks for the audiobook, but that's going to take a while, so I don't want to wait that long. And so what we're going to do here is we'll kind of start with the book. So I actually am starting to work on the formatted copy of the book. So that is right over here. So I did actually assign my ISBNs last night. I got the LCCN number today. That was actually shockingly fast. It was less than a 24-hour turnaround. I don't know, maybe nobody's publishing books out right now in our current state, but hey, why not? You know, why not? All right, but we have everything here. We're going with WorldWare Press as my imprint. Adding imprints now under Boker is actually pretty easy to do, but you can kind of see this is where we started out. I'll probably run with this for a while, but we're going to format that. Now, one of the challenges when we do an ebook is we don't actually want all of, we don't really want all of this information here from the formatted one, because it's going to add a lot of excess stuff to our pages that we want to get, we don't want in there. So what we're going to do is I have a non-formatted version of the book right here. So this one here just has the minimal formatting. Of course, it does have page numbers, and I'm going to delete the page numbers. Just make sure there's no page numbers anywhere throughout the book because I don't want any of those. All right, we're going to have to think about what we're going to do with our chapter titles here. I think what we're going to do is we're going to break it out based on this heading 1. So we'll have a separate file for our heading 1s, separate file heading 2s. And then, of course, our copyright page, and then we'll probably have a table of contents page in here. And I'm not sure if we're just going to do the chapter numbers, but we'll play with that, see what we get. So starting with the LibreOffice document, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to first, we made some changes. So let's go ahead and save the changes that we made. That's mostly, I just removed the page numbers in there. And we are going to export as. Now we have export as EPUB or export directly as EPUB. Export directly as EPUB is just going to take your basic default settings. Export as EPUB is what we want. We can grab our versions, our split method. We can use headers, page breaks. I'm going to use heading. That should default us to heading 1. If it doesn't, then we're going to have to come back and do it again. Layout method, reflowable or fixed. So reflowable basically means that the words are going to flow. If you do fixed, then it's going to break everything into individual lines. That is really annoying. Never do that. If somebody changes the size of the font, it could cause weird, unpredictable things. All right. We can go ahead and date things, author things, title things. Let's just go ahead and do some of those. We will probably edit or change some of these, but we'll just go ahead and do these for now. All these are things that they want. We can do cover images. I'm actually not going to do cover images here. That's going to work better in Sigil. So we're going to go ahead and export this guy. We'll just call this Synaptergy eBook and save that guy to the desktop. Now, other things that we did in preparation is I do have a folder of assets that I've worked on. I have here just my basic information. So I assign my ISBNs. Of course, you do need a separate ISBN for the softcover and the ebook. If you are doing a hard book, you will need another ISBN for the hard book. You do want an LCCN number. These are picked up from, you need to create an account on the Library of Congress website. They will assign the LCCN numbers, and it's very important that once you have your book is done, then you're going to want to mail them a copy. Don't forget, you have to mail them a copy. If you fail to mail them a copy, they're going to stop assigning you LCCN numbers. So make sure you do that. We have a description here. I'm probably going to change this later, but we're going to run with this for now. We should not need the bisect codes for now, but I did want to assert 3 bisect codes. I went with general, hard science, and genetic engineering. Now, you can download, I forget where I got it, but you can download a copy of bisect codes on an Excel sheet. So I have a copy of that. I wanted to create some keywords and, of course, our author. There might be some more things that we need. I'm not sure. The other thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to grab the font, or excuse me, the title cover. So this is the title cover we're working with. You can see we got it down to 71K. So this is a 500 by 800 title, 500 by 800 JPEG, and I saved it with the quality of 80. So that way it's going to be good enough for any computer screen type devices. It's not super high res. This would also be good to put on a website. So the other thing I am going to need is I am going to need the font. I forgot to grab it, but let's just go ahead and grab it. I should actually have that in my whole books folder here for Synaptergy. There it is. That's the font that we want. So I'm going to just paste a copy of the font down here. And let's just go ahead and extract it. Actually, the only one I need is the regular. So I'm just going to extract the regular. I'm not going to bother with the rest of them. All right, so those are the things that I'm going to need to get started. So we have created our ebook. Let's just go ahead and drop it in our folder here. And inside of our ebook, let's just open this guy up in Sigil. This is a notice I get on Linux with an older version of Sigil. I'm not worried about it. All right, so here is Sigil. Let's go ahead and we're going to fully maximize it, but we're going to make it pretty good size. All right, that way we have a little bit of buffer room here to work with. You can see it sectioned us out. So we have our basic header information. We have it does give us a table of contents based on the splitting. So the question is, do we want to have a bigger table of contents based on the header 2 or not? That's a question we'll have. Not sure why the LCCN number showed up as a separate section. I don't really want that over there. I want that more over here. So that comes down to the bottom. Wait, yes, paste it as plain text, of course. All right. Now we have section 2 can probably be deleted at this point. Don't worry about fixing the table of contents. We're going to do that later. So we're just going to delete section 2. Delete it. So what I like to do, just have a cleaner intro here, is I'm actually just going to rename stuff. So we'll go ahead and hit our rename, and I'm just going to call this copyright data. So that's copyright data. This guy here is going to be part 1. This guy here is going to be part 2. This guy here is going to be part 3. Now what you'll notice is our table of contents is probably... Oh, it did fix the table of contents with us. So it did adjust the table of contents in size, except it just didn't get rid of that one. All right, it's driving me crazy. My OCD's got me. There you go. Okay, so we will have a style sheet brought in with it. You can see all of this is junk that has been brought in from the writing document, which we're going to clear all of that kind of stuff out. So the first step is I'm going to go through, I'm going to clean all of this up. This actually is going to be one of the more time-consuming parts of doing this. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of all of this span. So we can see span class 0. I'm going to come down to the very bottom. We're going to type in what I want to do. It's a span. I don't want any spans in the system. I don't want any. We might do some italicized things later. We'll look at the manuscript to make sure there's none of those. But I'm going to replace spans with nothing. I'm going to go down and select all HTML files down here at the bottom, and I'm going to replace all. Okay, now if I try and toggle back to book views or things, I'm going to get errors because I have tags that are not closed quite right. And I have a whole bunch of closed span tags. So we're going to do the same thing on the closed span tags. So this is going to be quite a bit of this kind of stuff here. All right, let's go ahead and pull up all of these guys. There's probably going to be more spans. You can see there's span 1s, span 2s, span 3s. So we're just going to go through and just see how many of these things that there are. Replace all. It's going to clear all those out. Of course, the next one is going to be a span 2. Got a span 3. Just in the event there's any span 4s. Whoa, did we make 6,000 span 3 replacements? Holy moly. Okay, there's 8 span 5s we replaced. The number's down here underneath everything, so let's see. 21 span 6s. 3 span 7s. 1 span 8. Now, these types of things here are things that some of your automated generators do not get rid of. This is why I like using Sigil and doing everything manually. Does it take more time? Yes, it does. But we're talking about doing a book here, and so we can take a little bit of extra time to have a better quality product. Our goal is to make this thing as clean and concise as possible. All right, so there were no span 11s, no span 12s. I can presumably there's no span 13s. Next thing I want to do is you see all these P-class paras here. We want to get rid of these guys here as well, only these ones we're going to replace with just a P tag. So the P-class 1, P-class 2, P-class T, 3, whatever. We're just going to replace all these with a standard P, so we're going to go and replace all those. Hello, Robot Gamer. Greetings to you. How are you doing, man? All right, let's go ahead and replace all. 29. Replace all. No replacements. It should be. I think I got rid of a para. Replace all. Hey, 1,800 of those were made. All right. Let's get rid of just that part there. Just looking at the code, now you can kind of see how clean the code seems to be. Just going to scan through this, see if there's anything else that is sticking out at me. And I'm not seeing anything else. All right, we have a whole bunch of these spaces down here. I'm not going to batch replace the spaces yet because those are actually in between our section headers and chapter headers. And I want to keep those there so I can easily spot them now. All right, let's go ahead and get rid of this class body 0 on each of these body classes. This is small enough that I can do it manually. Oh, we got some P-class para zeros here. Place all of these as well. All right. So now we actually look pretty good. Go over and do the preview view. Of course, don't forget, I'm using an older version of Sigil here. If you use a newer version of Sigil, you don't have the previewer built in. But there's some tools that you can get for it, though, to do that. So everything there looks pretty good. So the next thing we want to do is I want to put all of my parts. So part 1, part 2, part 3. Actually, there's one more thing I want to do. One of these tags up here might interfere with our document. Looks like it's actually not here. Okay, never mind. Sometimes LibreOffice, when it exports a document, will give you a tag up here that will fail on a. It ends up failing on uploading the file to Ingram Spark, although it passes all validation. So I just want to go ahead and have a quick look. It might be this. I think it might be this guy here. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this on all of the pages. Replace that with nothing. Okay. I think that was it. Okay. Now the next thing we're going to do is all these part 1s. We're just going to change these to header 1s. There's going to be only 3 of them, so I'm just going to do this one manually. So these guys are going to be header 1s. Okay, now the part that's going to take a little bit of extra time here is we're going to have to go through the chapters, and we're going to turn all of the chapters into a header 2s, okay? So if we hunt down, usually this is going to be indication of where we're either going to have some chapter or a section. So I want to find all these guys here. What I might be able to do is just kind of find the number and just replace it. There's 29 chapters. So if I do this and replace it with an H2 and just toggle the number, but that's actually still going to be time consuming either way. So really what's the best solution here is we're just going to do an H2. We're going to copy it. If I'm not mistaken, I think this should... No, it doesn't fill it out. Okay. So we're just going to have to go through each of these. We're going to do something different for the section breaks instead of the these guys here. So let's just go ahead and... You know what we're going to do? We're just going to copy just the H2 part. That way we can do this. We could copy this down into the bottom, recopy my H2, and just hit find next. So just hit the next find. Oh, here's one. That's a section. So that's why we're leaving all of these, all of those paragraph breaks in here for now. We're going to use it just to track down our chapter numbers. So we want these guys in H2s because we're going to target and style the H2s in a bit. Let's go find, and it looks like that reached the end of the document. So let's go back to part 1. There's 29 chapters, I think. So we got a couple more of these to go. Give us about 5 minutes or so of this. If you have any questions about either writing or producing books of any form or another, feel free to drop those in the comments. Maybe when I'm done with this, I'll take a break for my eyes here and do I wonder if I can make this bigger. Yeah, that'll be better for you guys. My apologies, guys. I didn't think to make that bigger for you guys. You should be able to better see what I'm doing now. Man, helps my eyes too. So much nicer. So those 3 dots, I put those in for the chapter breaks. Well, we could drop an image in there if we want to, or maybe a dot. Maybe we'll find a font character. See what we'll see what our options look like. Okay, we jumped over to the last one here, so. $18. Woohoo, 10 more to go, folks. 10 more to go. $19. $20. $21. $22. $23. And it's the final countdown. Dun, dun, dun. I'm going to get a copyright strike if I keep on singing bad 80s songs. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Okay. Almost. Got just a couple more to go. Just 27. 28. And 29. Oops. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to search for an H2 tag. We're going to count all down here at the bottom. You'll see it's 29, so that tells me that we did not miss anything. Jacob Stewart, you're retracting your messages. All right, new to this channel, I'd like to know where I can find my ebooks. Pretty much anywhere where you buy ebooks. I do sell them directly since I write mostly Christian. They are on my Christian website, which is called ourwalkinchrist.com. But you can buy them on Amazon. You can get them Barnes & Noble, Kobo, wherever you want. You can find them. So if you head on over to the website, let me go ahead and pull up the Writing Done Right website here. Pull up your website at WritingDoneRight, and if you head on over to, this is WritingDoneRight.net. Somebody else snagged the .com. So if you head on over to books, this is actually the list of books I have right now. So if you click in on any book, here's purchase links. So this is the author website, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Ebooks, I have Kindle, Kobo, Nook. Now, if you head on over, though, to the author website, I think that lands on the store page on the author website. I'm in the process of rebuilding this thing. It is slow as molasses. If you head on over, though, to the books section on the author website, I actually have all of the links that I know of off the top. So if you head on over to the ebooks, here's Amazon, Kobo, PayHip, Nook, Bookshout, Indigo. There's probably some other ones out there as well. As many places as I know of to get the books, I create and sections and link to them. So that's where you can find the books. Now this one here, it's going to be in all those different places. I'll probably have a separate e-commerce store just to buy it directly off of the website, which is going to be at synaptergy.com. So if you do want to stay up to date as to when this book is coming out, you can click on the Get Updates here. This is the mailing list. And so as soon as the book is out, then we will have some updates on the Synaptergy book list there. So with that, let's go ahead and jump back to our book. All right, so the next thing let's go ahead and do is, so here's what this is going to look like now. Now I want to go through and I want to do something on those section headers. Before we do that, let's go ahead and add our fonts. So we're going to add an existing file. Right-click on the fonts, add an existing file. Let's go into my eBook assets, and BioRhyme is what we're going to put in there. Okay. Let's again rename this. I'm not actually going to just rename it. I just want to grab the copy of it. So we're going to go into our style sheet next. All of these are the things we got rid of. So let's just get rid of that. So we're going to do at font-face, and we're going to do a font family. Actually, we need to do an import. I got to remember exactly what my code is here. Did I close that down? No. I have a reference over here. I can never remember all of the nuances of the font family, so I have it over here. All right. That's right. That's right. It's going to be source, src:_URL. And then we need to go back up. So right now our file sheet right here is stylesheet.css, and these are all done relative. So I'm going to go .. to go back up to the root directory. Then I'm going to go into font, and then I'm going to give the name of the font, which is biorhythmregular.otf. All right, we're going to go ahead and close out with a semi bracket, and now we're going to do a font family. All right, so we're going to do a font family here, and we're just going to call this BioRhyme Regular. I'm just going to get rid of the .otf. So anywhere I want this font to be I'm just going to put this font family line, not the whole source line, just the whole font family line in there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and copy that line is what I'm going to do. And I want H1, H2, and I'm going to think ahead and say H3. I want all of these guys to have this line. All right, so now if I go back up to this guy here, if I go back up to the top, I should actually see that. Why am I not seeing that? That might just be an issue of the OTF font may not be findable on that. That shouldn't be the case, though. I need to resolve that. Did I do that right? H1, H2, H3, font family BioRhyme Regular. That should have put that in place. Interesting. Why did that not put that in place? Did I miss something? Oh, yes, I did miss something. See, that should be fonts, not font. Hey, there you go. My chapter number looked good. There we are. That's what we wanted. Now, of course, for our H1, though, I do want to use text transform uppercase. So this is going to show all of your fonts are now going to be uppercased on the H1s because this font looks way better when everything is uppercased. All right. So there's what that's going to look like. Now, I was planning ahead because I'm going to see if there's anything good in the BioRhyme font face to give us a nice character divider. So let's go ahead and open up our character map. And inside of our character map, then we are going to see if there's anything cool. I was going to use that one thing, but I don't really like that for a chapter separator. Then there may not be anything that's going to be good as a chapter separator. I'm just going to look and see. Hey, look at this, guys. We can do calculus. Isn't that awesome? That's right. I was a geeky professor at one time. You'll have to forgive me. That's actually a kind of a neat-looking thing. I could do a little neat-looking thing like that. So we could either do that or we could actually embed an image. I actually like to use the idea of a font instead of an image. And a chapter divider like that might not be bad. Maybe we'll go ahead and start with this. So let's go ahead and copy this guy here. And then what we're going to do is each time we have one of these guys, we're just going to replace it with this. So each one of your chapter dividers. Now, the next thing, though, I'm going to do is I want to see. I am going to want to put all of these in H3s, but since these are all going to be the same, you know what? There's a faster way to do this. There's a faster way to do this. We always want to find the more efficient, faster ways to do things. All right, let's find... Okay, so we're going to find all those. We're going to replace those with an H3 like this. Replace all. We made 17 replacements. Now we're going to find all of these, and we're going to replace those with H3s. Replace all. There we go. Okay, there we go. Now we should have throughout the whole book. Now we'll have that chapter divider, but I want that, and actually I want the H2s also. It's typical not to have these guys here, and maybe even the part ones, maybe even the parts will also center everything. Let's go back to our style sheet, and we're just going to do text align center. So that will align everything. Whoop. All right, so now these guys will all be aligned to the center. Okay. Now, I don't want to have all of these in here now, so let's go ahead and get rid of all of these spaces. So we're just going to get rid of those with nothing, replace all. 113, but now what you're going to see is that these are really close together. So we're going to fix these by going back into our style sheet, and on H2 and H3, we're going to do a margin, and we're going to say 30 pixel margin. That's going to give us our space back without having the character there. So now we have, let's give it a little bit more space. Let's go with 50 instead. There you go. That's a little bit of space. So now we have some good space on either end of it. All right. So let's see what we got next. All right, next thing we are going to do, let's go ahead and save it just in case we have a computer crash or something. Always want to do that. All right, we've added our fonts. We've got our style sheet in there. Let's go ahead and do some cover data stuff. So under our tools, we're going to add a cover. So we're going to do other files and grab our ebook cover. Hey, perfect. Look at that. Now we have a cover. Let's look at our metadata. All right, so under our metadata, we have a few things here. I'm going to pull up my list of information. Did I close my list of information? I think I did. There we go. Okay, I have my list of information off screen here. All right, so we have our title, we have our creator, that's our author, we have our language. We're going to add some metadata. The next thing is we want to do an identifier. So let's go ahead and grab my ISBN over here. Put that on my clipboard, so ISBN number. And so with this one, we're just going to do that. All right. So now we have an ISBN number in there. Let's go ahead and add metadata. Let's add a book description. So add metadata. We can do a publication. There's our description. So your book description does support, HTML code. So you can do that. Let's go ahead and do publication date. This guy is actually going to be, no, come here, you, 2020-5-12. Okay, so May 5th, May 12th is what our expected date out is. All right, we can have our subject. We can have a couple different subject lines here. We're going to do science fiction. We're going to do genetic engineering. And we're going to do general science fiction. All right. Okay, let's see. We should have a keyword in here somewhere. Maybe not. Maybe we don't. Author belongs to a collection, contributor coverage, custom, date issued, formats, language, publisher, WorldWare Press. Oops, I closed my metadata editor. I think that's good. All right. So, hey, we were ready for our for that to end. All right. So the next thing we want to do, we've got our metadata. We're going to generate a table of contents. All right. So when we go to generate our table of contents, we have to decide what levels we want to do. So what I want to do is I don't want to include these guys. So anything with header 3s. Whoop, undo that though. Hit cancel. I hit, in explaining what I was doing, I acted too quickly. All right, generate table of contents. I don't want to have any of the H3s, but let's go ahead and see what it looks like with an H2. So I'm just going to get rid of all of the H3s here. Generally, we probably don't even really want the chapter numbers, but let's just go ahead and see what it looks like if we do that. Okay. We have some errors on there. So something is not defined. Line 8, column 32. Okay, we haven't regenerated metadata yet, so. Okay, let's go ahead. We're not going to worry about that for the second. Index editor, spell checker, reformat. We're going to update properties. Hopefully this update properties will fix that. If it doesn't, then I might need to do something else here. Uh-oh, we still are having an issue. All right, line 8. That is the first time I've ever encountered that problem. That is very interesting. Prefix EPUB for this type on nav is not defined. That's very interesting. That should have been fixed with updating the manifest. That tells me no problems are found. Yeah, that's actually very interesting. All right. Let's go ahead and have a brief look at what our work looks like to this point in time. So let's go ahead and open this guy up. Let's go ahead and open up in the document viewer here, see what it looks like. Okay, so that looks pretty good. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this into a cloud infrastructure. So we're going to do that off camera from you guys. You can't see my super secret document system. And I'm going to go ahead and have a look at what it looks like in in an e-reader. So let's go with this. Let's upload a file from... Okay, well, we've went ahead and done that. Let's go ahead and find the phone or something. Let's do an iPad instead. So we're going to pull up in an iPad here. All right. Do I have... I don't have the system on here to pull up my cloud servers, but we can do it manually. I can do her manually. So I'm concerned with that little error that we're seeing. I'm concerned that that's going to mess up manifest properties on a proper e-reader. So I want to double check that. All right. While we're doing that, I actually could have been over here looking for a... could have been going on and grabbing the eBook validator. Excuse me. No, I don't have that thing going around. That would be coffee in the wrong spot. All right. Go ahead and click on this guy here. Download now. Downloads. Open that up. Open that up in Books. Of course, their Books platform on Apple became stupid. I haven't actually looked at it since I've updated this thing last. All right. Let me go back into... Like, literally, it's like open in Books, and it didn't open in Books. Open in Books. It keeps going back to the last book I was reading. iPad, have you gone stupid? Oh, this is why I hate iPads. All right, let me find... File Manager. Firefox downloads. For some reason, it is literally not showing up in my list of downloaded books on iPad. I'm going to figure out why that is in a bit. Let me go ahead and try it on a phone that is generally more useful. Okay, downloading to the phone, fetching most recent version. Let's go into Book Reader. There we are. So it is loading over here in the Book Reader. And if I have a look at it, everything there seems to be pretty good. Let me see if there's a table of contents. Okay, so we do have a table of contents here, and our table of contents is pushing out to the right locations. Our custom fonts are rendering just fine. There's our 26. So that one's working just fine. Let me try. I'm going to try the iPad again. I'm going to try with Safari, though. I thought I had the application that linked directly to my cloud server on here, but I don't. So I did it through Firefox. So let me try it with Safari instead. It might work better that way. Let's try that again. All right. Alrighty, let's see what we got here. So if you just jumped on, we're just doing a preliminary test. We're not done. There's a lot of things we want to do yet. Okay. Alrighty. Let's go, Safari. Let's go. There it goes. Okay, it was a Safari issue. All right, so there we are. We got our ebook there. So here's our basic copyright page in our ebook. Custom fonts are rendering beautifully. Okay, down there at the bottom is what our little section dividers look like, which is actually pretty good. I mean, I like that section divider. I think it's pretty cool. All right, let's see if we have a functioning table of contents. Table of contents displays. And it perfectly functions. So right now the book is good. That's about what the quality is we're going to get on a typical book. But there's a couple other things that we want to do yet before we call her complete. All right, so let's go back to Sigil again on Synaptergy. And what we're going to do now is... we are going to... let's delete this guy. It's just odd to me that this guy's not working right, because it should be working just fine. Interesting. Okay. We're going to not worry about that at this point in time. It's functioning perfectly as long as it passes validation. Let's go ahead and do eBook validator. Of course, I got to type it right. And I wish I had saved the... I wish I'd saved the link on this computer. It's on my other computer. There is a very nice open source validator, and I got to remember which one it is. Might be the one on GitHub. That's a manual one. This is the problem right now, is now so many of these guys have jumped up Let's do this. Let's go with, all right, let me look something up real quick here. I usually do my ebook production on another computer where I have all of these tools already in the system. Okay, let's see if this functions. All right, let me just... In the last year or so, there have been so much emphasis placed on ebooks that all sorts of these companies jumped up, and most of them I would not use. There's one very good EPUB validator that I should use. There it is. There's the one. I found it. All right. So we're going to drop our book in. Let's do this book here, and let's validate it. Hopefully there's no errors. But you always want to do this as a step before you send your book up to your distribution networks. Could take just a few minutes here. Let's check on the book size real quick. Okay, the size of the book is 223K. So that is good. It's still validating. Okay, so we have EPUB type element nav. So this is actually the error it keeps on telling us about. And I have never seen that error before. I've seen a lot of errors. I've never seen that error before. Let's just kill that error. Let's take that out, see if it still functions here. All right. Okay, so right now, let's see. You can see that actually got rid of the table of contents, so that would not be good. Let's go ahead and rebuild the table of contents, see what in the world that was about. Like I said, this is the very first time I've ever seen this. Generate table of contents. There we are. That seemed to do it. Okay, now there's one more thing we want to do. And this is something some things are missing out on. We want to link things back if you want to anchor things back. I think that this is definitely more important on a nonfiction book. So I'm not really sure it's worth doing here. But in theory, if you take each one of your chapter titles and link them back to the table of contents, that generally is a good thing to do. Before we do that, though, I want to save the book. I want to open it back up. Let's first open it back up in the document viewer. Okay, we look good there. Let's go ahead and validate it again. Back to the validator. Validate this guy. So if you wanted to go back through and cross-link everything in, then what we're going to do is we're going to come up here, highlight whatever your section is you'd like, and create a link back, and then you tell it where to go back to. So the system's going to automatically tag everything like this. So if you want to take this part here and we're going to tag it back into the table of contents or into any other spot of the table of contents we do. It said it's not typical in a fiction ebook to print out a full table of contents like you do in in another book. In fact, maybe what I'll do is I'll just kind of show you that in another book here. So I have this one here, this book. So we have here our table of contents, which actually does show up in our book. You'll see each one of these guys links down to a chapter title, but then my chapter title links right back up to the table of contents. So just kind of show you what that looks like, looking at our chapter title here. So our chapter title, you can see, is an A reference back to text, table of contents, and then the individual part. So each one of these chapter titles is going to link right back. Since we're not going to put in an HTML table of contents, we're not going to do that for this particular book. That's just a step that you would do in the event that you are doing a fictional book. All right, so we still have an error while parsing element incomplete or missing element OL. All right. Figure out what that one is. So this is line 122 on, not that book, this book, table of contents, line 122. Okay, so that's actually telling me it looks like what happened is the system didn't close an order tag. Order tag. Maybe there's an extra order tag. All right, so here's one OL. Here's an OL, and the OL, OL, and OL, and end. Okay, what do we got? Element nav incomplete, missing the required element OL. That is interesting, because I've never seen that error before. So it's missing something. That is actually something I'm going to have to spend a little bit of time researching what the problem happens to be. Otherwise, though, it doesn't appear as though we're having any other issues with it. Let's see. Missing element required. Let's go ahead and look up this error. I am completely unfamiliar with that error. Nothing to do with Sigil. Better place posted is probably EPUB forum. Instead of removing the style or add OL tags to his table of contents, landmark, at least add one entry under. Check out the sample, see what proper syntax is. Yeah, I've never seen this error show up before. It's very interesting. EPUB 2 and delete nav and just stick with that now. That's a bad solution. Very interesting. Very interesting. Have a look at what this one looks like. What I'm noticing here on my one that does validate properly is I actually have on the table of contents, I actually don't even have the first OL. It's very interesting. So it literally would be more like this. That to me does not make sense. That feels like it should break something. That one there, it appears as like, I'm not sure what's going on with this particular error. This is the first time I've seen it before, so we'll figure that out. Sometimes that's the penalty of working on some of these things. Okay, it is there. It is there, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. That should give us a similar error. Okay, so that gives us several open errors. So not here, expecting an OL is incomplete, missing the required OL. So, all right, here's one more thing we'll try. We're going to go ahead and put our OLs back in. That should give me an error. Yep. Fix manually. Back to validator. Validate it one more time. And if this gives us the same error, then we're just going to have to assume it's good for now, and I'll figure it out. What I'll end up doing is I'll take it over to my other system where I have a lot more ebook tools. So right there, error parsing file nav incomplete, missing requirement OL. So that's going to be the same error. We're going to, what I'll probably do here is I'll research this guy here a little bit more. Let's see if anybody else is talking about it. And then let's see. Let's see if there's more people giving us the same errors. Okay, these are the only errors that occur. Sigil, this is contents HTML page looks like. Same problem, same TOC, different compile settings, passes violation. Passes because on a section type and section layout supports a numbered page heading described. So apparently it's a difference between numbered and non-numbered. Okay, guidelines creating a validated are strict. Such needs to follow a custom TOC within Scrivener. A section must have a heading that is styled using one of the numbered styles, such as heading 2, either the text itself or generated by the layout in the section uses compile, and B, the rest of the content must consist exclusively of links pointing to other sections of the book. One link per line. Indent levels for each line will be scanned and produce a folder-style navigation. Some devices where one can drill down from Part 1 to Chapter 23 to Section 23.8. Deviating from these guidelines results in a book that does not validate. Okay. Tags are very different from what I see generated by Scrivener. Just one's opening, closing tags. Is your code an image straight out of Scrivener, or has it been edited? Okay. Very interesting. Yeah, I'm just going to have to dig some time into looking into this. The other thing it could be is it's perhaps that some validation things have changed since using this, or this individual validator is using too strict of a protocol that would not be a problem. These are all things that I'm going to want to look into. So for now, we're going to say the ebook is good. We're going to go ahead and declare this as finished for now, and I will update in the comment section what happens. I mean, the other thing I could do is, if you guys want, I can go down and grab my other system and validate again on the other system. Why don't I go ahead and do that? So we're going to be right back. Give me just a second. Let me find where'd my intro screen go. All right, I will be right back, folks. I'm going to grab the other computer from downstairs. All right. Give this guy a second to boot up. And let's see what we got in a second here. All right. Alrighty, let's go ahead and grab a copy of it over here, and then we will validate it on the validator for that Ingram Spark uses. Crap, it's the same validator. No, this is going to give me some issues until I figure this one out. So I'm going to have to dig through the guides and see what is going on with it. So let's go ahead and grab a copy of you. Out of curiosity, though, I'm going to see if the other books that I'm working with here are still validated, right? That would be an interesting test. Because this one validated perfectly fine before. And while that's doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up in a newer version of Sigil and rebuild the manifest over there. So I have another computer working on that. Okay, validate you there. Okay, so that other book validates perfectly. So using all the same information, that one doesn't. So let's download you. Yes, save you. Open with newer version of Sigil. And with that, then, I will be able to have a look at it. Greetings, Pizza Lovin' Nerd. How's it going there? We're just, Pizza, if you just jumped on, we are trying to figure out what is up with this error that I've never seen before. All right, so let's go up here. We're going to go with our generate table of contents. Okay, we're going to go tools. We're going to update manifest properties. Generate that. Save that. All right, and let's find our validator. Validate that. So I have two separate errors testing it on the other validator that's on this computer. This one's going to be a little bit trickier to try and figure out what the problem is, I think. All right. So, do that. Streams the wrong channel. If it's in a segment, if it is a segment fault, I'm sorry, you're screwed. What do you mean I streamed the wrong channel? No, I didn't. I don't think I did. All right, we're gonna have to figure out what the issue is here with this another time. So what we're gonna say is so far everything's good. I just need to figure out what that one little issue is, and I'll dig into that and see what the situation would be. And with that, though, I think we're gonna wrap this one up at this point. So thanks for hanging out, everybody, and I will update the comments when I have the issue figured out. It's probably something like, it's probably something silly that I'm over, just completely missing. So with that, I'll go ahead and figure this out, and I'll update the comments when I get to that. So everything else, though, we covered pretty cleanly on how to get the ebook starting from nothing up to a final finished product that is pretty close to ready to go out. So with that, thanks for coming along, guys, and I hope that we have taught you to get your writing done right.